So your fat loss has stopped, you're doing all the same things that were working before, but now the scale weight hasn't budged in a few weeks. Everyone's telling you your metabolism's slowing down or you're going into starvation mode. Guys, let me tell you, this is pretty much always never the case. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly why your scale weight is stalling and how to overcome it. Firstly, what even is a plateau? Because we're not talking about a few days or a week of your scale weight stalling. We're talking weeks and weeks on end, no scale weight change, no visual change.
I'm gonna go fucking ballistic.
We have to consider there's so many things going on when it comes to scale weight, such as fluid retention, meal timing, sleep, stress, loads of different variables. But if your scale weight truly hasn't budged in weeks, there's going to be one of these 5 areas that are going to need addressing. You're actually eating more than you think you are. So common. We've all done it. I've done it, guys. An extra little spoonful of almond butter when you're weighing it out, an extra handful of berries, start eating more and more veg, more and more salad without tracking it. Like before you know it, guys, these little additional bits, they're all adding up. You might be weighing in an additional 300, 400 calories a day. Think about that net calorie intake across the week. Then all of a sudden that 2,000 calorie deficit you've created, you've outdone it and then some. So as your appetite's ramping up, make sure you're keeping your accuracy with tracking on MyFitnessPal or whatever you're using, and stop sneaking these additional bits of food in, because I can guarantee if you actually strip it back and start tracking everything, you might be over consuming on your food. Reason number 2, and that is metabolic adaptation. And it's a real thing, guys, and it's not your metabolism is broken or starvation mode. It's none of those things, but it is an adaptation. It's an adaptive response to stimuli. Our bodies are very clever at adapting to stimuli. Okay, just the same way as we train our muscles in the gym to adapt, our body will adapt to the energy coming in. Right? So if you was on maintenance calories at 3,000 and all of a sudden you strip your calories down to 2,500, you've created a nice deficit, you're dropping body fat. What will sometimes happen is if your energy was here at this food intake, once that energy output decreases, and that's your body adapting to that lower caloric threshold, that's now your new maintenance, right? And what will happen here is it's not necessarily you adapting by slowing down, although it's really important to try combat against this by keeping your NEAT up. Okay, and that's your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And it's essentially all the things you do that equate towards calorie burn without you actually trying to do it, like cardio, resistance training, right? So just you walking around the day to day, how you're going about your day, how you're preparing your meals, how you're opening a cupboard door, how you're walking up and down the stairs, all of these little things which contribute towards you burning calories on a day to day, trying to avoid them slowing down. Research actually shows that the autonomic nervous system will slow down its bodily functions. For example, you will actually blink less without you realizing it when you're in the extremities of a dieting phase, because your body's trying to conserve calories. If your caloric intake is reducing, but you're trying to keep hold of not only your muscle mass through your training, and that's where a lot of your energy demands are, but your biological functions, right? And I mean, things that are going on behind closed doors, digestion, sleep, oxygenating your body and musculoskeletal system with oxygen-rich blood, everything you need to do in a day to day, your body's doing that behind the scenes, right? Your nervous system is doing that behind the scenes, and it will start to slow that down, and that is metabolic adaptation. Now, how do we overcome this? We can just pull a little bit of food away, or we can add a little bit of low intensity cardiovascular work, and that's going to help just to edge that deficit in the right direction again. But there's other ways we can combat that again, and I'll touch on that in one of the later points because it all ties in. But metabolic adaptation is a real thing, and that actually ties in nicely with point 3, and that is diet fatigue. Right? And sorry to use the word fatigue that so many people seem to get offended by these days, but diet fatigue is a real thing, guys. Let's say, for example, you've been dieting for 15 weeks and you're 25 pounds deep, and there's the final 5-6 pounds that you just can't get off, and you've gone from 3,500 calories to 1,800 calories. You've gone from no cardio to 30 minutes daily cardio, right? You're considerably leaner. There's a good chance you're going to accumulate some form of fatigue. Now, we have to try and manage that, because what happens, and this is where it kind of ties in with point 2, is our NEAT will start to reduce. Remember, our non-exercise activity thermogenesis will start to reduce, and what will happen around this is that your calorie burn will reduce as a byproduct, and all the things you're doing on a day-to-day, you'll just start to, your resistance training, what you're doing with your walks. You know, we've all been for a walk in the depths of a dieting phase. I certainly have, and each step is just a colossal effort. Now, how do we actually combat that other than like be strong, mind over matter? No, we pull back. We find ways to manage and mitigate that fatigue. Now, we can do that through either a diet break or adding a high day or a refeed, or God forbid, an off-plan meal. Go for an off-plan meal, brother or sister. Weigh it in, enjoy it, because the psychological benefit you're going to get from actually just taking an evening off, weighing your food out, weighing down to every last pea and granule of mince and just going out and ordering some nice food with the family, with the other half, with some friends. Get a starter, main and dessert. Don't go crazy, don't binge. And if you've got a poor relationship with food, you know, this is something where it might be better maybe to go down the route of a refeed or a structured high day. But sometimes just implementing a nice influx of food to fill up the muscle bellies and give you some glycogen to go help with your training performance. It's going to help to boost your performance, boost your, you got it, NEAT, but also just give the body, the nervous system, the mind, the spirit, the soul, a little bit of a release from the constant rigors of dieting, a psychological escape from dieting. And a lot of the time, more often than not, your weight might spike a little bit, but in the days to follow that, you'll find that you'll overcome that plateau. So diet fatigue is something that needs to be managed, and we manage that with different things, mostly adding some food in some way, shape or form. And the next thing is overestimating your calorie burn. You know, what once was you burning 300 calories doing 20 minutes on the Stairmaster, you might only be doing 200 calories now because you're more aerobically equipped. So to do level 6 on the Stairmaster for 20 minutes, you're actually only burning 200 calories instead of 300. In your day-to-day walk, whereby before it was harder because you was carrying around 20, 25 extra pounds and you was going for it because you was motivated and I can diet and this is the life I chose. And then 4 months later and the walk is the last thing you want to do and you just want to curl up on the sofa and watch Married at First Sight and you've got to go out and go on a walk. And your steps are taking an absolute colossal period of time and you've got no energy and you might only be burning a quarter of the calories you were before. So you're overestimating your calorie burn. How do we combat that? Kind of ties in with one of the other points. Can't remember which one, two. But that is to force yourself to keep your NEAT levels up nice and high, okay? What you can do with your cardio is you can actually go for calories burn as opposed to time, because 20 minutes might be different from 1 20 minutes to the next. 300 calories burn is always going to be 300 calories burn. And some people would argue, oh, but Kieran, the watches aren't that accurate. They're not, but there's something that you can track from 1 week to the next. So even if this says 300 and I've only burnt 200, if it says 300 the next time and I've only burnt 200, then it's still the same, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, drop me a comment below and I'll break it all down for you a little bit more simple. But essentially, if we're burning the same amount of calories each time we step on the Stairmaster, it's uniform. We can track it, we can modulate it, and we can increase it over time, okay? So that's point 4. So we've covered the first 4 points. Now the 5th one is probably the one that I see the most, so stay with me guys, okay? But this is probably the most common and probably the most overlooked, and that is that your adherence is slipping, point 5. Now, adherence could be anything, right? But you're 4 months deep in a diet, you're 20, 30 pounds down, your calories have come down, you're hungry. Before you know it, you're grabbing something on the way to the gym that you shouldn't have and you're lying to yourself. When you stop on a petrol station on the way to the gym to fill up the tank and you have a heart attack because of the price of fuel and you have to comfort yourself with a bar of dairy milk, fruit and nut. You can tell I'm dieting, guys, I'm hungry. These intrusive thoughts go through my mind all the time, but I don't do it because I'm strict and I'm adherent. You've got to stay adherent to your plan. It could be missing a cardio session. It could be, oh, it's all right, it's only 3,000 steps. I'll just curl up on the TV and watch Married at First Sight. You can tell I'm watching Married at First Sight at the moment. It could be a multitude of different things. The most common thing, guys, is adherence. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Are you adhering 100%? So those are the 5 points, guys, and let's just recap and round them all up, because more often than not, and in my whole time of coaching with hundreds of individuals, getting them shoot ready, holiday ready, contest prep ready, it's one of these points, right? It is either going to be that they are not fully tracking everything and they're just eating a little bit off plan here and there and they're underestimating how much they're eating. So strip that back, make sure you're tracking everything. MyFitnessPal, there's no excuses, guys. Strip that back and see what you're consuming. I guarantee there's a good chance that you would have been consuming a little bit more than you thought you was. Metabolic adaptation. As you're in a diet phase for a good period of time, your body's down regulating its internal processes. Fight against that. Keep your NEAT levels up. Keep your expenditure up. Drop a little food if you need to. Add a little bit more aerobic work if you need to. But more often than not, and this will tie in with number 3, it's just fatigue. Diet fatigue accumulating. We combat that with adding some more food, refeeding, even pulling some training volume and intensity down so the body freshens up. Going on a 3-day deload, getting away for a weekend, taking yourself away from the rigors of the day-to-day of dieting to combat this. You're overestimating your calorie burn because you're fitter aerobically, so you need to up this now. You need to either just few taps on the Stairmaster, run a bit faster, whatever you need to do, get that NEAT up nice and high, and then adherence to everything as a whole. It's really, really important. And more often than not, guys, it is one of these points. And if it's not, then maybe you are the anomaly to science. Maybe you are the 1 in a million where your metabolism is broken. And if that is the case, and I'm here to say it's broken, you can't fix it, I'm afraid. That's it, you're done, you're screwed. Metabolism is in the bin, but I've never seen that. I've never seen that. I've coached people for 10 plus years. I've coached hundreds of individuals who have got literally down to the lowest percentage of body fat you can imagine. And it's never not been one of those things. It's always been a case of management, diet, management. Okay guys, I hope this video was helpful. We've broken down the main points as to why your body weight might have stalled, but you know, if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments box below, and stay tuned for more videos like this where we're going to be delving into different topics which should hopefully help you with building a rig. Thanks for watching. Peace.